Welcome to our tub. Come on in. It's warm inside, and there's always room for more.
This podcast contains adult material and is intended for mature audiences only. If you're under 18, grab your rubber ducky and find another tub. This one's not for you. Hello and welcome back in the tub for episode 95. I'm Mr. Berg.
And I'm Mrs. Berg.
And this week, yet again, we have a full-length interview.
Mm-hmm. It was quite an interesting one, too.
Yes, this was a very, very informative, very fun interview. Really got to learn a lot about this content creator and performer. This one, too, we want to throw a shout out and thank a friend of ours, which, you know, hey, he still considers us a friend, even after meeting him in Chicago and consummating our friendship with Malort.
Oh, you mean he still considers us a friend despite the Malort? Okay.
Yeah, it's our friend over at Quick and Dirty Media. This performer, he had posted on social media that she should look into, well, sitting down with us for an interview. And again, really glad he did. Mm-hmm. Nina Nova, been in the industry just about a year, but really, as you'll hear, she jumped right in, really, head first. Great background. She has a background in a lot of different segments, I guess to say, of
avenues.
Yeah, of adult, of the industry.
Branches. There
yes. A degree in sexual relations and health, I believe she said it was. So a very good head on her shoulders. And again, you know, jumped in, worked with some top studios, really taking the bull by the horn, I guess you would say. Mm. But that is, really the interview and the episode here today. We're just off of the Thanksgiving holiday. Mm-hmm. With this, 5 episodes away from 100.
That's right.
Getting prepped once again to head to Washington, D.C., Chantilly, Virginia, actually, for Exotica DC here this coming weekend. Next week's episode, we're probably going to have a kind of end of the year Exotica recap and discuss the convention and, you know, at least the last 2 in depth a bit. May have a special guest on with us to talk about their take on the convention as well. And then we will be following it up with, well, some more Dip Your Toes in the Tub segment. We'll see who we can find new here this weekend. And, of course, we have to have the regulars on for a holiday installment of Dip Your Toes in the Tub. And then right after the new year, well, the way it's mapping out, well, we're going to kick off the new year with
episode 100.
Yes. The way everything lines up, that will air January 2nd, 2024.
So we'll be celebrating more than one thing on New Year's Eve.
Yes. So I'll definitely have a few things lined up for that. Looking forward to that episode. Without further ado, we're going to kind of wrap it up and
get straight into the interview.
Yes. So again, this time of the year, make sure you take care of yourself. It can be stressful. It can be a bit of a struggle. Take care of yourself. Take care of those around you, those you care about.
It's getting dark and gloomy, folks. It doesn't help the old
mental fog. Mm-hmm. Holidays are more than just gifts. They're about togetherness and that side of things as well. So again, take care of yourself as well. Pay for your porn. Wrap it before you tap it. Lick it before you stick it. And until next time,
we'll keep the lights on and the tub warm for you.
All right, welcome back in the tub. As we had shared, we have a very special guest joining us this episode. Our next guest can still be considered a newcomer to the industry, though in her first year, she has blasted into the industry and turned heads, working with some of the top studios from Kink, Gangbang Cream Pie, to Mean Bitches, just to name a few. She's performed with some of the industry's top content creators, including Alex Cole, Rocky Emerson, and Pristine Edge. Again, she is just dipping in to the industry. And with her will, drive, and looks, she is bound to make a name for herself and be on nominations and awards for years to come. Please welcome Nina Nova.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for your kindness and your kind words.
Well, thank you again for taking time out of your day to join us and share a little bit about who it is you are and what you're doing.
I love it. I love the space that you all provide for us to really open up and to be free and to, break down those walls between who we are as a performer and who we are in real life. And I'm excited to talk more about all of that with you.
As we are as well. And as we talked a little bit prior to starting the recording here, the sexual openness and acceptance is really been a big part of why we do what we do, as well as, to promote performers and who they are as individuals, both on screen and off screen. So really looking forward to learning that about you. So as we, slide deeper into the tub and get comfortable here, can you let all the listeners know where they can find you online and on social media?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at Nina Nova XOXO, and you can find all of my links at allmylinks.com/Nina Nova XOXO.
All right. Very good. Pretty much the same name across the board. That's in this day and age of the social media world, that is not very common.
It's difficult out here in the social media wild, wild west.
and we can say you had a post a few weeks ago on Twitter that we saw about getting kind of, hit on, was it Twitter or was it Instagram? I think the post was on Twitter, but it was Instagram, correct?
Yeah, I lost my Instagram recently and had to restart a new Instagram. They sniped me. They got me. And I'm being much, much more cautious now on Instagram than I ever have been. Very, very modest, to be honest.
And I will say that, yes, they have really, we get warnings all the time, and our Instagram is very, very, it's nowhere near what our Twitter is or ever was.
Yeah.
And we are literally on the point of, our posts and our profile isn't shared with anyone on Instagram.
Yeah. I got marked on Twitter as sensitive, or I had a new label added to my account. The Rolling Stone actually interviewed me about that as well. And I was like, I have no idea. I already marked my media as sensitive content, and I already have my profile marked as 18 and plus. So I wasn't sure why I was labeled again sensitive, but it's amazing how much censorship is happening around the internet right now of this exact thing, sexual expression and sexual, liberation. You're just trying to talk to performers in the industry and you're getting flagged for that. We are all adults here.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's crazy. The lengths, and a lot of it really is gray area for the most part, because it's, goes against the terms. Well, what
are those terms exactly?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. You want to talk about vague terms.
Right.
It's whatever the flavor of the day is, almost.
Yeah, literally. It depends on who's the one behind the AI or who's the one behind the bot. It's just so fascinating to see Like, I remember, I don't know, it must have been a half a year ago, there were a bunch of very large Twitter accounts being taken down. And I was like, they are really out here. Like, they are not discriminating. Like, they just pick and choose as they will, you know, like, it doesn't matter how big you are always susceptible to this kind of censorship because they just pick and choose.
Yeah, exactly. It all depends on who's sitting behind the computer screen at that given moment.
Well, and sometimes I think they look and go, "Oh, you're just too big right now. Let's just knock you down a little."
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, as we did some, as we say, research for our interviews,
or perving.
Yeah, or perving. Yeah, come on. Yeah. So we had checked out your OnlyFans. So you've been in mainstream right around a year.
Yep, right around a year now.
Okay. And prior to that, so you were doing some camming, a year or so ago. Was that your first step into the adult entertainment world?
So I've been camming on and off since I was 19. So I would take like seasons off of camming, and I would go to school. I did my bachelor's degree in sexuality studies. I went to school full-time. I worked full-time in marketing and communications. But I, from the age of 19 on, would frequently like dabble in the world of online sex work or in the world of camming. So I would hop in every once in a while, maybe a couple times a year for like a month or 2-3 months. And I would hop on in and I would like dabble away. I built my little fan base and clientele throughout the years that like have stuck with me and followed me throughout my career. And then I just recently decided to invest my full time and full energy into the adult industry for the first time ever. This is the first time I've invested any more than like 20-25 hours a week into the adult industry. Was the last year. So November of last year, I joined the porn industry. I decided I wanted to work mainstream, very specifically, that I did not want to have to cam or have to do OnlyFans, that I really wanted to be booking with studios and working mainstream as much as possible. And I set my mind to it, and I have been steady working towards that goal. But yeah, before that, I definitely dabbled in online sex work and camming for quite some time, since I was a very youngin', even more youngin' than today.
So you started at 19 again, and playing around. I don't know if it's fair to say that it was kind of a release every so often, and hey, let me jump in, and okay.
It was a release. It was always the backup. I always knew that I had sex work that would keep me steady and hold me up. Like I always had it like in the background of my mind. I was always doing sex worker advocacy, mutual aid work. So working with like the Sex Worker Mutual Aid Collective, SWADE, who provides microgrants to sex workers in need. So they'll provide $100 cash to sex workers who are in need if they submit a form on their website. So doing mutual aid work like that, just making sure that other sex workers who were working full time had the resources they needed. So I was never kind of too far away from sex work. I was always somehow distantly attached or working or, advocating on behalf of. But then really it took until this year for me to see my whole lifestyle change and for it to become my entire being full time, my whole life. And now everything is different in a very good way.
And that's great. And as you were talking, that was even before you said the word, what popped into my head was you were an advocate.
Yes.
For the industry, for sex workers as a whole. So, never out of touch with the industry itself.
Yeah, always peripheral, always somewhere around, trying to support in some way or, engaging in it myself. And then this year, really diving headfirst all the way in through the mentorship of some other amazing sex workers that were working in mutual aid with me, and really just like making it my full-time dream and my full-time dream come true, which has been really exciting.
And that's great. So from your side now, you're so encompassed in in a lot of the things within the industry. It's not just jumping into film, because you understand a lot of the outer bubble, I guess is the right term, or the right thought, with the advocacy and all the support, the outer support networks.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely have a broad perspective on the work that I do and the people that I work with, and the intricacies of the industry in a way that I might not have otherwise if I had just jumped in at 19 into porn. I can't imagine if I had just jumped in at 19 into porn. So I'm definitely glad I waited. But I also love young sex workers and know that they are totally kicking ass. But for me, it would have melted my brain. Oh my God. I'm glad I waited.
And from what you just said, there is, through our years and in the media side, to take that steps that you did, there are a lot of young performers that get in and the candle burns out very, very quickly. You might see them for a year and then it's gone, because there's so much involved with it that a lot don't realize until they're knee deep into it.
Absolutely. This is truly running a small business. This is truly building a brand, building a persona, making your way in an entertainment industry. This is not for the weak. And I think a lot of people hop into this industry thinking it's like a quick stack, or it's easy money, or, it's fast. And it can be. It can be fast. It can be quick. It can be, it can be those things. But it is, if you really are in it for the long term, it is an entire lifestyle, and it is an investment that must be made. And it can lead to burnout very quickly if you aren't aware of that and you aren't taking note of the ways in which your work-life balance might be skewed. This can quickly, everything can become content, right? I think about that all the time, every day, as I move through my day, oh, this could be content. This could be content. And I'm like, oh, this is my lifestyle now. This is how I live my life. I have adapted my life around this, and I know how to do so with boundaries, but it is absolutely all encompassing. And
that's fair. I mean, you're living the job, but then again, as you said, you need that work-life balance. And I think that's what we see, some of the, performers or cam models, the content creators coming in, and they really, you get burned out, where just like anything, it's a game of attrition and perseverance that you need to keep going and find that it's a fine line.
Absolutely.
And I would think that having the right supports and the right guidance would help that too.
Yeah. And from your side of being there, those outlets to go to, or you've seen that firsthand, so you're able to, follow the right roadmap.
Yeah, for sure. I am really lucky to know where the resources lie for this industry, right? I know where to go if I'm ever in need of, if I'm ever experiencing a financial crisis or a sexual health crisis or even a mental health crisis. Pineapple Support, is a great organization for sex workers of all types to turn to if they need support with their mental health. There are all of these different, there's SWAP, sex workers, I'm trying to think of all the different organizations. There's just so many amazing ones and there's so many resources available to you that if you know where they are and you utilize them and you seek mentorship and you speak within your industry colleague groups and you share your experiences, that burnout doesn't have to happen. You can build a career where you can thrive. I think right now we're in a hustle and grind culture very heavily, right? Hustle and grind, hustle and grind. So I think it's easy to fall into that in sex work, but it is very possible with the right supports and the right resources to build a career where you do not let that candle go out in the first 2 or 3 years.
And I think we've seen that as well, just from our side. And again, being on the outside, on the fringes ourselves, from the media side. But we have made so many friends within the industry. And that, I think we were very shocked at the family type environment that a lot of the industry is. It really is. We've been welcomed into that family over the years and doing what we're doing, and it was just very shocking and surprising to see that, but love the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think there is very much an ethos amongst a lot of sex workers. If I eat, we all eat, it's a family, right? We are supporting each other. We want to see each other succeed. I actually don't see that much cattiness. I know a lot of people expect there to be a lot of cattiness or drama between performers in the industry, but in actuality, I see a lot of people just truly, genuinely supporting each other and loving each other and lifting each other up. And it is a very familial type vibe. I feel like conventions always feel like a reunion. That's what it feels like to me. It's a reunion. Everyone's coming back together again. And I'm super stoked for AVN this year for that reason. I'm excited for that reunion and that family vibe.
And we can say, so we just got back from Exotica, New Jersey, and we do 3 Exoticas a year. We don't do Miami. We do Chicago, DC, and New Jersey. And leading up to Jersey, we were talking to some people, some performers that we've become good friends with. And it was gosh, it's been too long. We haven't seen each other since Chicago. We haven't. And when you walk into the convention center, it really is. It's that feeling of we're home.
Absolutely.
And the way everyone is there, yes, you're always going to have one-offs and you're always going to have little drama here. There, I mean, it's
an industry.
Every family has that. I mean,
yeah.
Right. But it's still kind of crazy, even for me, to have some of those people spot us in the crowd and be genuinely excited to see us. It's
yeah,
it's still kind of weird.
Yeah, and that's, again, it's the family support and the kindness and genuine people within the industry.
Absolutely. Yeah. I have found some of the most genuine and some of the most kind people in this industry. In fact, I think it's such a vulnerable job. It's such a vulnerable industry. You have to kind of have somewhat of a good heart going into this, or it shows, you can tell who's in this industry for different reasons or for other reasons that might not align with your own. You can often tell that pretty quickly. And I have been able to spot a lot of genuine and kind souls in this industry, and I've been really grateful for that, grateful as such. And I hope to only continue to do so.
Yeah. So, as you said, you wanted to go into that mainstream and be focused on mainstream. So, do you still do any cam work or any OnlyFans stuff or your own content, or are you solely, hey, I'm heading to mainstream and this is what the focus is going to be?
So I'm still making my own content on the side here and there. I'm producing my own content with different content creators in Las Vegas and LA. And I plan to have a pretty packed content release schedule over the next year. But for the most part, I'm investing a lot of my time in contacting directors and studios and, marketing myself, doing PR, and really putting myself out there for mainstream studios. And so far, it's yielded quite a bit of success. I'm trying to balance that with the reality that content is king and creating content is king. So I'm also balancing that kind of mentality. And camming is always on the back burner. It's always there. It's always something that I plan to go back to if I ever need to, or if I ever feel like I really want that connection with my fans, that live connection. But yeah, right now I'm working with fetish studios, doing custom videos. I'm doing my own content on the side. I'm working with different like studios like She Seduced Me, which is one of my favorite contents that I've released thus far. And then, really just pushing for mainstream scenes as often as possible, and in talks with quite a few studios right now. So super excited.
Very nice. Well, as we went through your OnlyFans, we looked through your social media. It is a very seems like a wide spectrum of types of work, of types
Absolutely.
of scenes. So has that openness and it been something that has always been you, or have you expanded to some of these in getting into the industry?
Honestly, I've always been pretty open and pretty sexually liberated. Like, one of my first pro scenes was Gangbang Cream Pie, which was pretty intense, right? Like, you don't just dive into like porn with a gangbang necessarily, but I guess I decided to. And one of my other first pro scenes was also an extreme anal scene with kink with everything but, which was a pretty extreme scene as well. So I started the industry with a lot of the extremes that many people put off for years into their career. So I kind of got a little bit of a jump start. I didn't really like slow ball my career in the same way that other people do. But I have found that it's opened up a lot of doors for me, and it is honestly, the extremities are to the points in which I am comfortable working. I love pushing limits. I love figuring out where my own fetishes and kinks lie. I love exploring the full realm of sexuality. So far in this industry, I've had a blast and have been able to do that and really explore different fetishes, explore different areas of the industry like romance, cinematography, like really cinematic scenes, really hardcore scenes, and even some more submissive scenes. So it's been really fascinating, like venturing into all different fields of the industry, and in my first year, kind of getting a taste of different extremes on all ends.
And again, to come in and to really put yourself out on a lot of different ends, we could see where that opens up a lot more conversation with other studios, other directors, and hey, you're interested in this, you're interested in that, and having that open mind.
Yeah, I think it's very apparent that I am bold and that I am willing to put myself out there. And I think because of that, I have been granted opportunities that are bold and require you to put yourself out there. So I feel pretty lucky and pretty grateful that I've been able to make a name for myself in that way, that I'm willing to be audacious and step out and do something that is a little bit more extreme, or that is a little bit more intense. And I think it's paid itself back 1,000 times with some of the art that I've been able to create over the last year.
Very good. As we talked a little bit earlier about, the mental health and the balance and things. What is it is there something that you do yourself for your mental health and for a break?
Absolutely. I am really careful about delineating my personal life from my professional life. I keep some things that are just for me, very tight to my chest. I also have, hype up playlists and rituals and routines to get myself in the mindset of, Nina. Who is Nina? Building up that confidence and that esteem and that persona, and really feeling at home in myself and my skin. I really work on that on an active day-to-day basis. And I have a lot of rituals and routines that I, engage in to kind of keep that delineated from my personal life. So I get ready and I make it a big deal. I put on my certain playlist. I get my coffee from my favorite coffee shop. I lay out all of my makeup on my vanity, and I make it kind of something really special. And I'm able to keep a delineation between my lives kind of in that way, and keep Nina, and that has been really important for me. And I think it's easy for us in the industry to have Nina become everything and all that we are. But I think it's so important that we keep those little teeny things close to our chests. And I know all of us have those things, whether or not it's like our favorite candy bar that we won't share, or our favorite kink that we won't do on camera, or, you know, like our favorite pet name that we won't use in a scene because it's ours, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to keep those little things close to our chests, and to delineate those differences as much as possible. But I do so through like a lot of hyping myself up, you know, like through a lot of ritual, through a lot of routine, and through a lot of, you know, affirmation.
Good. And again, as we talked prior to recording, we think that is something that we like to try to get listeners to understand, and what fans to understand as well. There is a split between the camera person and the scene person and who we are in everyday life.
Absolutely.
And you have to be able to separate the two.
For sure.
For, as you said, your mental health. Because you drive yourself insane. There's no break if you're always Nina.
Mm-hmm. And it is an all-consuming type of industry, right? Like, this industry is incredibly vulnerable. It's incredibly, like, it can be very draining. It's emotionally energetic work. You know, sexuality is a lot. Like, we do very intense things sometimes, and we put ourselves in very vulnerable positions with strangers. And like, we need to build our confidence up to be able to do that. And it is so important that our mental health is like paramount to that, to our success in the industry. Like, if we don't value and treasure our mental health as much as we value and treasure our success, we're going to burn out and we're not going to see that success. Like, it is so important to be able to get into that mindset and to be able to be that person, that persona, that brand, that thing that people want and desire, that divine feminine energy. It really takes a lot to step into that. And I think that shows when we start investing in our mental health and really feeding into ourselves as much as we feed into our careers.
Yeah. So what, when you are not on set, when you're not creating content, what are some things you enjoy doing to unwind and be yourself?
I am a live music, like, aficionado. Like, I love live music. Like, all I want to do is go to concerts, go to tours, go to shows, watch live performances on YouTube of all my favorite artists, and I want to do it several times over. I've seen some of my favorite artists like 3 or 4 times in concert. I like keep track of tours on my calendar. I love the experience of being at a show with other people. So most of the time when I'm not creating content, or when I'm not, even sometimes when I am on work trips, like this last LA work trip I went on to shoot a scene, I literally went to a concert while I was out there because I was like, I love music and there's a concert I'd like to go to. I'm on this work trip. I'm going to do this for me, you know, not for Nina, but for me, you know? So I like went on this amazing concert and went and danced and just had a good time, and like went with my, you know, friends out to get a drink. And I just love to dance and to listen to live music. That is like my number one go-to when I'm not working. It is definitely music.
Nice.
So what kind of music?
I love like neo R&B. I love soul. I love funk. I love even like some neo jazz. I like hip hop too as well, but really I my heart lies with R&B and soul and some of the neo artists that are coming up in that industry right now.
All right. And like you said, hey, you're on a work trip, but guess what? If you have the night off, why the heck not?
Why the hell not? Why not?
I do the same shit if I'm traveling with work. I'm like, it's a work trip. If I'm somewhere overnight, guess what? If there's a hockey game in another town, or if I have a friend that lives out in Baltimore, if I go close to there, I'm like, hey, I'm in town. I'm not a baseball fan, but he's like, hey, I got tickets to the baseball game. I'm like, all right, I'll see you. Going. Why not? Yeah. Holy shit. We only live once. Enjoy it while we're here.
Literally, we have to, or else what is it all for? What is the success for? What is the money for? What is the like momentum for if we're not taking any time to pause and actually enjoy it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely right. I say that so much, and I'm terrible for it. I work a lot. I work more than I should. But yeah, you know what? When it's time to take a break, I'm like, guess what? The money ain't going into the ground with me.
Literally.
Let's use it and have fun.
I want to take this to the grave.
Yeah.
I want to take this to the grave.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a blast while I'm here for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So.
Uh-oh. Where are you headed now? Oh.
One thing that we like to kind of do is scroll through Amazon wish lists. So
that's fun.
It really is. There are some things that we have found, and it's like, all right, I gotta this is really cool and unique. So as we look through yours, I'll tell you the bucket swings, the bucket chairs. Those are awesome. I've looked at those a couple times for on our back deck.
They're amazing. I actually just got one for my room from Wood Rocket Productions.
Oh, okay.
They have a warehouse clear out in Las Vegas, and they happen to have an egg chair at the warehouse that they managed to, slide my way. And now I have it in my content room, and it is everything I have ever wished for. It is literally a childhood wonder, it is like you just swing in it and you're just having a joyous time. Like, you can't help but smile when you're in a swing. Like, I really feel like you can't help but smile.
And I've looked at them again, like I said, for out on our patio. And at one point I got one of the big, just mesh swings that hang from the ceiling, and I'm like a hammock, like a seated hammock, and I'm like, okay, but those egg chairs, I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
There's something different for sure.
The other thing we saw was the selfie stick. What is it? It is the stabilizer stick.
Oh, the gimbal?
The gimbal.
Yeah.
I'm so fascinated in learning more about the behind the scenes of it all. About the production aspect of it.
Well, and so that is interesting, because that was a question that we had written down. We hadn't got to about, kind of your thought process of moving into producing and things like that. And that gimbal actually jumped out because this weekend when we were at Exotica, we were sitting having drinks, and a content creator pulled this out and said, you guys got to check this out. And I went, that's a pretty crazy ass looking toy. What do you do with that? And when she set it up on her phone, I'm like, that is cool as shit. Wow. Yeah. And that was the first time I had seen it.
Awesome. They are so incredible. And I have always had a kind of a passion for like filmmaking and cinematography and, production. So I have found myself like leaning in that direction with my own content, self-producing some of my own content. And discussing with other content creators like the kind of projects we hope to create together in our futures. But yeah, like gimbals and like new cameras and new equipment are all things that are high on my priority list as I learn more about what it takes to be behind the camera from other amazing directors and producers in the industry that I hopefully will have the chance to learn from in years to come. So I'm always taking opportunities to like shadow, to be on set, to really ask questions of the directors and producers that I'm working with, the cameramen, the PAs. Like, I just want to know everything there is to know about this industry and just pack my brain full with it so that I can eventually be a jack of all trades.
And that's really what it seems like. Again, you started on, that the one side. Now you're into the performing side, and that interest and the look to continue to grow within it. And so from creating your own content, in essence, you're writing now as well already.
Absolutely. It's so funny you say that, right? Because I actually had someone when I joined the industry, the adult film industry, who looked at me and said, "You don't read now anymore, do you? You don't read things?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" They were like, "You only read scripts, right? You don't have to read emails or read like anything." And I'm like, "Are you implying that I don't read in my career? I read, I write. I'm so sorry. I do math. I don't know if that shocks you too. Like, I do math. Like, I, in fact, am a functional human being and, in fact, read." But it was just such a, like, moment of stigma and, like, cloudiness around what the adult industry is, that this person literally asked me, like, "Do you read still?" And I was like, "No, actually, I have the great opportunity to read, to write, to create, to produce, to edit, to market, to brand, to perform, to model, like, to all of these different things are part of my career now." And, like, people don't even realize it. And it's so funny because they'll be like, "Do you even read?" Like,
oh, wow. And again, that is, I think some fans and some listeners may not really think. We've talked to other content creators as well in the past. When you really look at a scene or a custom, if you're doing a collaboration with someone, the time and planning that goes into the whole process, the filming of it, then the editing of it, and there is so much involved in it. It's not a matter of turn on a couple ring lights, turn on a camera, and get naked and let's do it.
Yeah, it is so much more than just, let's fucking film content. It's like, no, let's like organize a day that we can actually align our schedules. Let's find a location. Let's find a videographer. Let's figure out our angles. Let's figure out our plot point. Let's figure out the content and the direction of the scene. Let's figure out what props or wardrobe we might need. Let's figure out how we're going to market it. Let's figure out who's going to edit it. Let's figure out the branding of it. Like, all of these things that go into this, like, content creation and porn and adult industry work is a full-time job. If you are really investing your whole into this, you are working a full-time job for sure. Whether or not you carry that in 20 hours or 80, you are working the equivalent of a full-time job. Definitely requires a jack of all trades unless you are outsourcing in every which direction. And I have learned so much in the last year as a result.
Well, and outsourcing costs money. It costs a lot of money.
It costs up front too. Like, you don't just get to outsource and like give everybody a 20% commission. For some of these things, you're paying retainers, you're paying monthly, you're paying hourly, you're paying per video, you're paying, like, you are paying out of pocket to work already. You're paying to get tested. You're paying for your locations. You're paying for your wardrobe and your makeup and your hair and your beauty, and now add all of that into it as well. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, like you said, it's not just, all right, hey, here's a couch, here's a bed, put a camera up, and let's go.
Yeah, it is not that at all. It is so much that goes into the creation of the art that people get to watch and, enjoy.
And
that's really
that word.
Yes. Yes.
And I know. So we spoke with another performer while we were at Exotica, and she used that exact word. I'm creating art. And absolutely right.
Absolutely.
And she said that numerous times, but she couldn't be farther from the truth that it's an artistic impression.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was so geeked on one of the most recent content trades that I did with Peter King, actually, because we got to co-create our own kind of video together where we went on this not a first date, we went on like an anniversary date as a couple, and we crafted this whole narrative, this story. We had these different B-roll like footage that we wanted to capture, and he really enabled me to like get into almost like a co-directing kind of role with him, and that I got to craft this narrative alongside him. And it was so neat to create this video together and to like craft this storyline. And I find myself more and more drawn to that as well, right? Like creating these different art pieces and crafting these different artworks, whether or not that's modeling, whether or not that's pretty girls, whether or not that's scenes, whether or not that's literally just basic marketing. I'm so inclined to want to be creative and to be different and unique and to get my hands dirty.
So is it fair to say that from a performance side, a creation side, are you more storyline driven based on what you just said and having analog and actually making it a story as compared to a gonzo scene?
Oh, that's so hard because I love a good gonzo scene. I really do. And I have found that a lot of the work I've done recently has been gonzo, but I've been so excited to get more into the cinematic world where we do have these storylines that we're seeing through, or these plot points. Maybe it's because I'm a theater kid at heart. Maybe I love me a little acting. I love my VR scenes. I love my like storylines that I get to craft a character for. But I also do love just like a passionate fucking scene, you know, like I love a good gonzo scene as much as the next four, like I just do. But I do love something about the cinematic, the artistry, the scripts, the different angles, the different B-roll, the different like considerations, special effects I love. So I really do think it just depends on the flavor of the day, I guess.
Yeah. And as you said, the cinematic side, where it seems to me personally like a lot of the mainstream industry is going more towards that. I don't know what your thought is, but we've talked to, a few episodes back, we actually sat and spoke with Nathan Bronson. Wow. And we discussed stunts and, some of the stuff that Ricky Greenwood has done and grinders and all of that, where it is so cinematic and there's stunts and there's special effects and there's a whole storyline and plot.
Yeah, I definitely have seen that kind of curve. And, I'm thinking of like Les Cinemas, I'm thinking of Delphine Films, I'm thinking of even Casey Calvert's films, also Casey Calvert's films.
Casey has, done some great things that way.
Yeah, for sure. I'm thinking of Jim Powers and like the things that he creates as well. Just all of these different incredible producers and directors that are trending a little bit more like cinematography, a little bit more cinematic, a little bit more storyline, a little bit more plot, a little bit more depth and substance. That is so exciting to me to be able to explore. And, I'm up for either or any day, like I'm gonna be ready to get railed no matter what, but I do love me a challenge. So I invite the challenges that the industry is like throwing our way now.
Good. And change. Some people struggle with change. It's human nature to struggle with change or push back to change, but change is good in the same way.
Absolutely.
And again, I think, coming from that, yes, Mrs. is definitely more of the plot and the cinematography. And I think a lot of women, non-industry women and friends, I think it's a female thing where they're like, all right, the more so they want to see that plot and the storyline. Guys on the other side are like, oh yeah, let's go. Just freaking drop trow and let's start banging.
Yeah, they're like fast forwarding the first 10 minutes of the porn.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Stop talking already. Let's do it.
Yeah. So it's always that fine line. It's always striking that balance, right? Between like giving the people what they want, which is the hot and the steamy and the sexy and the passion. And also like being able to strike a balance between like making somebody maybe not want to skip, making somebody like, drawn in and like, you know, encaptured by your eroticism. So for me, that is part of it too. It's like the sensuality of it. It's the eroticism. It's the like, how do I enrapture somebody like in that moment and like keep them captive, so that they stick around for that first part and they don't just skip straight to the railing. Although if you want to skip straight to the railing, I support you.
And again, yeah, I mean, I'll watch some of the all right, I got to get the base. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm a parody
are the
guy.
ones that you're going to watch the whole thing.
Yeah,
Especially if it's cosplay. Yes.
Yeah, I am a big Axel Braun fan. And the parodies and everything that he has done. And I'm like, okay, you know, I'll watch through that. Some other ones I'm watching, and then I'm like, all right, yeah. I got the gist of what this scene is about. All right, now let's go to the good stuff.
Absolutely.
So, 5-year plan. Do you
5-year plan?
Do you have you thought that? Yes, only 1 year in, but what is your vision over the next 3 to 5 years? Where do you see yourself?
I love this question because I'm a Capricorn, so of course I have a 5-year plan. I have like so many notes in my phone all about like where I'm heading and where I want to be in this industry. You know, like one of those benchmarks was to land my first magazine feature, and I just landed my first magazine feature for Hustler in February 2024. I'll be featured in the print issue of Hustler. So, you know, just like reaching benchmarks like that is what I'm striving towards right now. Like one of my other benchmarks that I set for myself in this industry was to book my first international work trip. And I just finished talks to book my first international work trip to Budapest, to Prague, and to Barcelona next fall. So I will be traveling all across the world in the next year. And I hope to only continue to do so over the next 3 to 5. I hope to see the world. I hope to maybe explore agency representation, contracts, to explore different studios, different realms of the industry. I hope to only grow bigger in fetish work as well. I want to continue to create fetish content and to grow in that realm and arena as much as possible. But yeah, I just want to keep on going and keep growing and keep building. And I have so many dreams that I've set out for myself that I can't even count them at this point. But I keep on achieving them. So I guess I'll just keep setting them and then see what happens.
and as you keep checking off another box, then as we said throughout this conversation, the direction and the drive and what you've done to get where you are, everything is, you have that background to continue to grow and push. So, yeah, keep writing those check marks. Keep in those boxes.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. If there's one thing I am, it's very ambitious, and if I will do what I set my mind out to do, if not out of spite, because I'm stubborn, because I'm just hard-headed. But I am definitely that type of person. So definitely, if I say to expect big things, you can surely do so.
Well, and even to have a bachelor's degree under your belt.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, before you even started in the industry, that you were obviously driven. And
to get that piece of paper,
Do you?
Yeah, and it's fascinating to have studied sexuality and to have ended up in this industry, you know, to like have that academic perspective as well on the porn industry. You know, I got to study under like professors like Lynn Comella at UNLV. So like Lynn Comella is an incredible sex worker researcher in the field. Who actually has done research on sex workers across the nation. So it's actually been really fascinating that I was able to study with such sex working academics. So like, yeah, the BA, the bachelor's degree definitely comes into play too.
So
it was destiny.
Yeah.
It was destiny.
Again, and to continue to grow, you know, as you said, you have an international trip. I mean, Prague and Budapest, when you talk about more of the fetish world, like those are the hubs for that industry. It's definitely, we've talked to people that have been there, and they say there's such beautiful cities. It's just phenomenal. It is on a list for us to eventually get to. We enjoy traveling. We enjoy food and, just cultures. That'd be great. But that even says it for you. You want to grow more into that? Well, you're planning a trip there.
Well,
what better place to go to expand into that?
Europe in general is just so much more
open
and accepting and
sex positive as compared to the U.S.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see what kind of work I'm able to create over there and what studios I'm able to work with. And I only look forward to, returning and to continuing to create and to build my international persona and brand and presence as well.
Good. The conversation that we have had is phenomenal. Really getting to what we've learned about yourself and the drive and the background and everything in the direction you're going is great. We are so happy we had the chance to sit here and talk with you. Don't want to take up too much more of your time. It's really been great.
Thank you.
Before we go, can you let everyone know one more time where they can find you online and on social media so that they can watch this career and everything you have planned grow in the coming years?
Absolutely. You can find me on Twitter and on OnlyFans at Nina Nova XOXO, and you can find all my links at allmylinks.com/Nina Nova XOXO. Come and find me and come along for the ride, everybody.
Hey, because it's bound to be a great ride. That is for sure.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for your time. Best wishes and continued success. And we are sure we will see award nominations and wins coming up in the future. And hopefully we get a chance to meet you personally here at a convention sometime in the future as well.
Absolutely. This is but an only until next time. It is until next time.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. All right. Have a good evening.
Have a good evening. Thank you so much for having me.